Howdy, howdy, howdy. I hope y'all are doing okay. I was going to say, I hope y'all haven't been out here for an hour and a half waiting for me. I have a feeling for those of you that are, you've had a fine conversation. Probably maybe didn't even notice I was gone. Yeah, a little delayed this evening. I had a little business thing going on. I had to take care of that. I'm up at my mom's house. So, no green screen this evening. So, yeah, a little personal business, little work meetings and all that. But I didn't want to go away completely. I just had to delay a little bit. So thank y'all for the patience of bearing with me. God, we had too much stuff going on last week with some of these reality shows and everything. So welcome to all of y'all. Let me start off with the big old SKD 143. Love my wife, love my kids, love reality TV, love those of you who have the patience to come out here and hang around waiting for me to show up. Thank you for that. I do appreciate it. And for those of you watching on replay, welcome aboard as well. We're going to go pretty quick. I'll probably only do about 30 minutes or so because I haven't had dinner yet. The sacrifices you make. But I couldn't not spend a Monday night with y'all guys. So welcome aboard. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing, turning on notifications, hitting the old thumbs up. I sent out the reminder earlier that we were going to delay tonight, but I have a feeling, I guess once I started the show, hopefully it sent out a notification saying, he's live. He's live. So if you had notifications turned on, you would have gotten the notification. All right. Hope y'all are all doing fantastic. Let me go out here real quick, see who's out here. Then we'll hit y'all's questions because, again, I got a few shows to talk about. All right. Let's see. Ma, I hope you're doing fantastic. School started back up. Or are you enjoying your last few days? But glad that you're out here. Karen Loveland, Amanda, Michelle Moore. Yeah, I love seeing all these names there. I hope y'all guys are doing fantastic. Mark Taylor, howdy, sir. Terry Thomas, Colleen, Cindy Howard. Hey, Cindy, how are you? Karen Hummer, Audrey Cobb, Marilyn Sutherland, Desiree Watts, Paul Long, Carol Mosier. Y'all's names just bring joy to my heart. Let's see, who else do we have out here? Paul Long. I'm going to go through this kind of quick, guys. Ed's out here. Cass Wash, Ryan 51, Chaz, Misfire, Marshall Davis, and Dr. Bose. The doctor is in the house. Yes, indeed. How you doing, doctor? All right. So going a little quick. We'll do a little bit this evening. All right. First of all, a few questions. Let's get into that real quick. Mark Taylor, what did you think of the final challenge? Were you surprised by the winners? All right. Before I even do that, Mark, Karen Hummard said, hope and pray our group is safe and sound from snow, fires, and ice. Yeah, let me start with that. Been kind of rough here in the States, hasn't it? We've got the snow and Atlanta. We had it. I did not have it down in Houston, but they certainly had it up here in Dallas, Fort Worth, which we're not used to. So we've had that. But more than anything, I don't want to say that because it's important to people out suffering here too. But over in California, those fires, is that not just incredible? Because not just that there's fires. I get it. Sometimes forests catch fires. LA is a beautiful place up in those hills and everything. But watching the winds from some of those fires, they called them hurricane force winds, and I believe it. How do you protect against that? Rough. Absolute thoughts and feels for everyone that's over there. It's a tough situation. So a lot of losses over there. So it's kind of rough. All right. Now, with that being said, let's talk about some other things. Mark, I'll repeat the question about what you think of this final challenge in the challenge. The final challenge. Yeah. For spoiler alert, we are going to talk about the winners of the challenge. So if you haven't watched it, give me just a couple of minutes. Mark, I am perfectly fine with it. I think I said the last couple of weeks that I was kind of cheering for Jordan just because he's a badass. I mean, if I'm going to cheer for the underdog, it was no loss for the guy's side of it. If Kylan had won that thing, well, he's a big brother guy. So I'm always going to cheer for the big brothers. He just didn't quite have the swimming part down, right? That was not the final that Kylan needed to be participating in. Bananas, whatever. He's won so many. Did not break my heart that he didn't win. Love the guy, but he's doing pretty good without it. Derek was kind of the underdog. I felt like he did well, but to have Jordan win, it just seems like it's deserving. Even little things like him talking about how hard it was for him to paddle the canoe with his hand and all that, and yet he did fantastic. So now, absolutely fine, perfect, zero issues with the winner from the men's side. From the women's side, Rachel and Jenny, I'm okay with it. I kind of had a soft spot for Tori just because between her and Bananas and all of that, I would have been fine with her winning. Jenny dominated a lot of it. If you already, there was a part of the final where they were having to count the coins. I feel like Jenny just kind of, at least the edit showed her maybe giving up just a little bit, but it is what it is. She still came through. I don't know how much I like these karma points at the end. They went all season talking about how it could have an effect at the end. And I get it. The way it changed the points, the way they did it, I'm not sure if I'm completely bueno with that. I felt like it had too much of an emphasis at the very end, which, fair enough. We were warned that season it would have an effect. But really, it was Rachel that benefited from it, right? Not Jenny, that caused her to win. I just feel like that sometimes affects. I think was it Michelle who talked. I don't know if she talked about it, but Michelle, because she got thrown into the challenge ring so much, she had to kind of go against people and nominate people and get put into a position of nominating a lot of folks. So of course she made enemies and people that gave her lower karma points. I feel like she got the kind of the raw end of the deal. I would have preferred, not that they asked me, I would have preferred maybe if if instead of points assigned, it would have been some time penalties or time awards at the end, where you still knew where you were after the karma points in order to win. Whatever. I still liked it. And I have no problem with Jenny or Rachel tying for it and winning their share of the money. $200,000. Still a lot of money, right? But it just doesn't sound the same as $1 million like you hear in some races. But I enjoyed this season of the challenge. Lord, they're already starting another one here in a couple of weeks, right? It's just one after the other. But I'm back on the challenge board. So, Mark, I enjoyed it. Tell me what you thought. I thought it was a pretty good season. Even though I wasn't a huge fan of the 4 errors and all, I still thought it turned out pretty well. I like the final taking place all on the water. Maybe it's because I feel very comfortable in the water, and I think I would have done fantastic. I would much rather swim back and forth all day long than have to run to the top of some mountain with a 40-pound sack of potatoes on my back or something. Yeah, none of that's for me. It'll put me in a swimming pool. But no, I enjoyed the season of the challenge. All right, Chaz is saying, what do you think of the first 3 episodes of Traitors? Who are you most surprised who got picked to be a traitor? Big spoiler alert on this one, because I know there's some of y'all who have not seen the Traitors yet. I can't talk about it without revealing who the traitors are. So bear with me. I'll make sure I cover it in less than 5 minutes. So set your timer if you haven't heard. Come back in 5 minutes. I'll tell you what, I'll do this once we get done. And that way, if you got me on mute, you can come back for the deal. All right, just do it. I like it. As far as the traitors who was picked, who showed up, Boston Rob showing up in all kinds of places. Pretty incredible. I don't know if I can do it without saying, but I'll try. I thought that let me see how I do this. The traitors who were picked, I think that 2 of them are just talking too much. I feel like a little bit. I don't mind who was picked. I truly don't. But a man who's a traitor, a woman who's a traitor, I don't know that I would have bought what they were saying in terms of how they were selling themselves and acting surprised and all that. I think they were talking a little too. Some people when they get nervous, they talk a little too much. You think I must be nervous all the time the way I talk, but no. I think that there's a couple of people who didn't do a very good job. There's one person. We'll just call this other person the wacky person of the traitors. And those of you who watch, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Fantastic job. Doing exactly what needs to be done. No suspicions whatsoever. So, yeah. And then there's a little extra twist with some extra people showing up and all of that. I'm okay with it. I truly am. We binged all 3 episodes and watched it all at once, and now we're ready. I'm fully invested. It's fun. Some of the people that were on there. There was one person from Beyond Earth or something. I didn't know who that was. I think his name's Tom. There's Bob from Biggest Loser. Hadn't seen him. He had some major health issues. I'm glad to see him back on TV. I think I really like the cast this year. Wes, one of my favorites from the challenges there. I loved him on the challenge. Loved it. Loved him on here. they finished off with a cliffhanger. They do that. It's not like some of the Survivor. They finish with a cliffhanger, so now I don't have a clue who won the thing. But no, I really enjoyed so far. Here's my thing. In terms of the cast and in terms of who the traitors were, yeah, I'm okay with it. In terms of who the traitors picked, I'm okay with it personally. I know I saw a little bit of griping online that certain groups were picked based on different reality TV shows and all that, which is fair enough. But y'all know me. I'm always going to be cheering for the Big Brother folks. And so far, so good. Now, I liked it. Here's what yet another season where I just don't get. People are so concerned about trying to identify who the traitor is, who isn't a traitor, and all. I think a different strategy. If I ever go on that show, I'm not going to worry. I don't care who the traitor is to start with. Now, I may have to kind of act like it because otherwise they'll say, well, you don't care because you're a traitor. I mean, but in reality, if I form a little alliance, I'm going to be perfectly happy if one person in that alliance is a traitor, because then the understanding, the thinking from my point would be, as long as someone in my alliance is a traitor, maybe they won't murder me in exchange for me not calling them out at the round table. It seems like it'd be beneficial even without everyone knowing who's a faithful and who's a traitor. That would be my strategy. Would I vocalize it or not? That I don't know. Depends on who I was working with. But I would be so unfocused on trying to get out a traitor for the first few weeks. It would all be about who's going to be the most dangerous for my game, who's going to be the most likely to mention my name, who's going to be the ones that are going to most likely screw things up at the end, whatever. I would be not caring at all who is a traitor. Do that a little bit later. Cliffhawk strategy. We'll see if I ever get a chance to put it in play. Alan Cummings is so cool as a host. Being in a Scottish castle, so incredibly cool. It's just a fun show to watch. So there you go. Yeah, I enjoyed. I binge watched the first 3 episodes and was disappointed when that's all we had to watch. All right, let's see what else. Wide here. Hey, Wide, how are you doing? Going to see Tracy Bird at Billy Bob's. Ever seen Tracy Bird? I don't think so. I don't remember. I like his music. I've certainly heard plenty of Tracy Bird. What? Congratulations. I wish I was staying in Fort Worth a little bit longer. High talent right on back. But he's, yeah, I like that. He do watermelon. He does watermelon stuff, really. I think so. If not, correct me, Wyatt. I know you know. Yeah, I need to get over to Billy Bob's one of these days. My son went over there. They went and hung out and saw Mike Ryan, Matt Ryan. Anyway, we'll move on. But they were just there like a couple nights ago. All right. Colleen is saying, anyone watching Deal or No Deal Island? See, that's why I had to come on this evening, even if it's just for 30 minutes. We're going to do it quick, but so many reality shows either wrapping up like The Challenger, starting off Deal or No Deal Island. Yeah, I watched it. Another good start to it. A few surprises. I knew Parvati was going to be on there. They've talked about it. I did not know that there's a big wig from Survivor Australia. I don't think I've met him before. I feel like he may have come to one of the Hearts of Reality, but I didn't know him then, and I didn't really know him now. But I enjoy some of the people who are kissing up to others, who think they've got alliances and they don't. The way the dollar amounts went, it's rough. Yeah, I feel like in a lot of ways, it's like being a gambler that's addicted to gambling. It's, as I was watching the final Deal or No Deal, and the person that was up there, they're saying, all right, just one more. No, and you do one more until win or lose, you're at the end, and it's just whatever happens. It was, yeah. Again, I don't want to spoil Deal or No Deal Island any more than Traitors, but yeah, I was a little disappointed the way it turned out. It was not the way I would have. I don't know. I want to see the big bucks up there. It didn't happen. It'll happen eventually. I kind of like the way it started, where people had to make some declarations and almost forced to do some alliances with each other, because now, are you going to stick with the people that you kind of formed this alliance with for this particular challenge? Or was that just a one-time only deal? And now you may be working with people that we're on a different side, so to speak. I think that's what I'd be doing. Because the other part, they did say, and again, I don't want to spoil it, but there was a way that kind of forced risk takers to go with risk takers, conservative people to go with conservative people, and all that. I don't think that you necessarily need to be working just with people who act the same way you do. I think there's something to be said for pulling in some people from some other groups and getting some overlap. Now, I like Deal or No Deal Island. Again, we got a few shows coming up before we don't get CBS. Well, I mean, we don't get a Big Brother Canada, unfortunately. But we do get these shows. I think Amazing Race is starting at some point. We've got Survivor will be starting up, so we'll be okay until the glory of the Big Brother season 27. Yeah, 27 starts up. God, that's hard to believe. I was season 21. We're already on season 27. But yeah, they're fun couple of reality shows starting off. All right, Colleen is saying Poverty, Gold Guy from Australia Survivor, and Dr. Will coming up. Yeah, I don't think that's a spoiler because we'd all heard that Dr. Will was going to be on the show also. So if you didn't know that, surprise. I don't know how he'll do. I've mentioned on the show before, I don't know if Poverty and Dr. Will, I think both of them have egos that may be too strong. They should work together. They should work together the way Nicole and Ian tried to work together on Big Brother All-Stars. But I just don't know that those two, at the end of the day, will. We'll see. I feel like they need to. But yeah, I'm curious to see. It's been a long time since Dr. Will was on reality TV. Does he still have the magic, or was that just kind of a one or two time thing during the early stages of Big Brother? There's a lot of strategy that's evolved in reality TV since he last took part. Now, he did do roundtables for a long time. He talked about, I think he and Cody had some podcasts, so they watch Big Brother. They talked about it. We'll see. I mean, Deal or No Deal Island is a little bit different than Big Brother. We'll see how he does. But yeah, I'm ready to see him come on board as well. Oh, Poverty. I forgot how cutthroat she could be. Because I feel like if I went on that show and I saw her, I would have said, hey, I know who you are. I want to work with you. And she would have cut me loose so quick. Yeah, the whole Black Widows and her, forming her women's alliance. I would have been fresh meat. Yeah, she's a good player. I've always had a lot of respect for Poverty's game. So yeah, I think she's gonna surprise some people. All right, let's see what else do we have on here. Chaz is saying, if you were on the island, would you work with Dr. Will? Yeah, I think I would, and here's why. I don't think you get Dr. Will or Parvati on that show and they go home the very next episode. I just think, and I'm not saying there's production manipulation or anything else. I just think you come in with enough reputation that other people playing the game are less willing to come after you. You may have a little bit of incentive. We don't know when Dr. Will comes in, if he's got some protection, whatever. Plus, we know they're fantastic players, and to some degree, you maybe feel like you know their game, or at least some of their strategies and things like that. So for all of those reasons, yes, I would. Plus the fact, I would be worried that if I went on a show like that, the people who haven't been on reality TV before would be saying, man, we got to get out these people who've already had their shot on other shows. If that's the case, I want to be aligned with other reality people that maybe have bigger targets on their back than me. So yeah, I think I'd work with Dr. Will. Ken T is saying Dr. Will showing up will be wild. They'll know who he is, right? Surely they knew Parvati. A lot more people knew her than they first let on. They'll know Dr. Will, and we'll see if he does like Parvati does and doesn't tell anyone. And one at a time, everyone's going to come and say, I know who you are, without spilling the beans to anyone else. At some point, someone's going to tell someone else about Parvati, right? And then the dam's going to be open, and pretty soon everyone who said they know her is going to be comparing notes. I would expect. We'll see. It's always interesting when you add a few folks in, like they've been on other reality shows that are now in with a lot of folks who never have, and see how those interactions occur. All right, Mark is saying, congratulations to the Houston Texans. Yes, indeed. Woo, my Houston Texans. A little bit worried there for a while. They started off a little rough against the Chargers, but they put it together at the end. So yeah, I've got a little football left to watch this season. So I do a little bit of that, and It's and they get, of course, their next game's against Kansas City up in Kansas City. So we may have just a very small bit of football left to play. I've always been a Kansas City Chiefs fan because they originally were the Dallas Texans. They formed the same year as the Dallas Cowboys. Lamar Hunt decided he didn't want to compete against Tech Schramm, two football teams in the same city. So he went to Kansas City. Y'all don't care about that. But originally they were based in Dallas. And so, and their fans are incredible. Kansas City fans travel. They're incredible fans. So I always cheered for Kansas City long before Mahomes and Taylor Swift and all of that. But not next weekend. Nah, they're the bad guys next weekend. It's all about the Texans. It'll be fun. One more weekend at least. If they win that, then who knows? All right, Ma is saying, I want to be in a castle. Me too. Forget the game. Just let me, hey, I'll just come hang out and I'll serve drinks to the folks that want to be on Trader. I'll be the guy wearing the robe and hammer the nails in the coffins and do all the grunt work. I don't mind. Yeah, just let me go to Scotland and be in a castle. Would be fantastic. I've gotten a chance to tour Scotland before and look at a lot of the castles. Incredible. They got so much history over there compared to us here in the United States. All right, Paul Long is saying, Ma has 6 classes on Mondays and Wednesdays: sociology, music theory, history, music and film, and jazz. Wow, you're loading it up. I gotta say, I'm not the most musical person. Music and film sounds like a lot of fun. I don't even have to take tests for credit. Just let me go in and audit the class. That would be kind of fun. What do you think of when you think of music and film? I think of Jaws. I think of The Great Escape, one of the best theme songs ever. Bridge Over the River Kwai. Yeah, don't get me started. I'm a huge fan of soundtracks for all kinds of movies. I have a lot. And that's my little weak spot. Musicals, but just soundtracks as well. I got a soundtrack. I remember for my birthday, I found it here while we were going through my mom's stuff. I'd kept it in my room. The soundtrack for Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I had a soundtrack for that one. I always like soundtrack. Gladiator, one of my favorite soundtracks of all time, right there behind Braveheart. So there you go. Yeah, have fun with those classes, Ma. And I'm glad, given that kind of workload on Mondays and Wednesdays, that you're able to come out and hang with us a little bit as well. All right, let's see what else we've got on here. Chaz is saying, go into your strategy. How hard would it be for you to cut loose someone that you've been working with all game if you're suspicious they're a traitor? It depends on what stage of the game it is. If it's end game and you got to get them out, because if you don't get the traitors out, you don't get the money. So end game, cut them. I don't care if I'm working with them. I'll cut them loose, but I wouldn't do it to the end. And you have to be careful, because then you get them before they get you. Get them before you get got, right? So yeah, it'd be some timing issues there to make sure that you did it first. But it's me or him. So yeah, I'd take him out. The beginning, no. Even if I suspected they were a traitor. Now the key, would you come up and say, look, I don't think you could. I was going to say, would you come and say, look, I know you're a traitor. I don't care. No, because then at some point they're going to say, well, now I have to get rid of her. You'd have to play dumb. Say, well, I know you're not a traitor, but it's fine. Let's work together no matter what you thought, and then cut them loose later. Yeah, I would, but not till the end. All right, let's see what else. Colleen is saying, love old soundtracks. Yeah, me too. I just, I forgot the biggest. Ma, surely they're talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? Marconi, I think, was the guy's name who wrote that. Marconi or something. Some old Italian dude. There's a reason they call them spaghetti westerns. One of the greats of all time. When I worked at Six Flags Over Texas, I worked in the French section my first year, which meant that I got to hear a whole lot of French music. I might as well have been wearing a beret or something. Not always. Kind of wore on you after a while. Nothing like having dreams of little peppy French music when you go to bed. But the next year, I worked in the Texas section of Six Flags Over Texas. And one of the songs they played was the good, the bad, the ugly theme song. So I had that running through my mind all the time. That wasn't bad. I had a lot of fun. I also worked right next to a place that was right next door to the gunfights that they had 5 or 6 times a day. So I got to hang around and watch a lot of people getting crashed through windows and thrown across tables and screaming and hollering and doing all kinds of stuff. I had a lot of fun working at Six Flags. Quite the experience. All right, Chaz is saying, were you a Cowboys fan before the Texans became a team? I grew up in Dallas-Fort Worth. I grew up in Arlington. So, yes, I was a Cowboys fan. I was a Cowboys fan while I was working out in West Texas on the oil rigs. Huge hardcore fan. I was there when they didn't win a single game, or they won one game against the Redskins, the Cowboys' big rival. The year they got Troy Aikman. Fan of all of that. Sharon was from Houston. So it used to be Cowboys versus Oilers, a little family friction. But yeah, once we moved down to Houston in, what was it, 96 or so, I immediately became a Love You Blue Oilers fan. Even more so once they pulled the team. Still upset about that. But then when I had a few years, no football from Houston, did a lot of fantasy football. And then we finally got the Texans. And yeah, hardcore fan ever since. So I'm only one. The rest of my family still up here in Dallas-Fort Worth, all Cowboy fans. So, every family has their black sheep. And I'd like to think it's the Cowboys fans in my family, not the other way around. But I still cheer for them. But I was a big Tom Landry fan. So there you go. All right. What else do we have, guys? It's 8:57. I know this has been quick, but I certainly, with the challenge, with the Traitors, with Deal or No Deal Island, I felt like I had to come out here and at least talk for a little bit about those shows. We'll cover more the next week, 2 weeks, whatever. But I didn't want to miss out saying hello to y'all guys. Sitting there watching the clock, client. I'm glad I got a chance to come out and visit with you. Sorry I was late, but sometimes it is what it is. But guys, y'all have a fantastic Monday. If you're dealing with fires, if you're dealing with snow and ice, if you're just dealing with feeling down after the holidays, just be safe, be careful, be comfortable. Love you who you are, and have a fantastic week. If you got any questions, anything you want to talk about next week, send me a DM on out here, or Instagram, or Twitter, or TikTok. Maybe, I don't know. TikTok may be gone by Friday. A whole nother conversation. I don't spend a lot of time out there, but I know it's in a little trouble. So anyway, guys, y'all have a fantastic rest of the week. I will see y'all next Monday. Until then, please, again, consider subscribing, turning on notification, hitting the old thumbs up, and I will finish off with a big old SKD 143. Love you guys. Thanks for bearing with me this evening. Have a great one. I will see y'all next Monday. Until then, cheers, my friends. Bye. Then I got to figure out how to turn it off. Y'all notice I didn't even have a green screen going. All right, guys, y'all have a great one. Cheers, my friends. Bye. There we go.